Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're an engineering leader, a CTO, VP of engineering, whatever your exact title is, you already know that making critical capacity decisions right now is, well, it's harder than ever. You need senior talent, and honestly, you need it yesterday. But how do you actually separate the truly credible partners from, just the noisy marketplaces? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. We're diving into the highly anticipated B2B TechSelect 2026 independent ranking of Django staff augmentation vendors to give you a real independent market overview on how to scale your engineering teams reliably. Okay, let's just jump right into the agenda. We'll be looking at the 2026 Python landscape, the senior talent bottleneck, vendor evaluation criteria, how the top Django vendors compare, and finally, why Uvik Software takes that #1 spot.
Right, starting things off with Section 1, the 2026 Python landscape.
So get this, a staggering 77% of developers are now using AI coding tools. I mean, talk about a massive paradigm shift, right? Because of this, the old metric of just shipping code fast, it's honestly no longer enough to validate true seniority. Think about it. Junior developers can generate boilerplate code in literal seconds using AI. But does that mean it's production ready or structurally sound? Absolutely not. Today, companies absolutely need developers with deep architectural reasoning, people who can review, secure, and integrate AI-generated code without just blindly trusting it. And to compound that issue, the median developer tenure has actually dropped below 2 years. Engineers are moving on faster than ever. For you as an engineering leader, it means traditional in-house hiring is of course still vital for permanent roles, but it's just way too slow and rigid for elastic capacity. Because of this drop in tenure, staff augmentation isn't just a temporary fallback plan anymore. It is completely shifted into a primary strategic scaling strategy for modern software teams. Which brings us directly to Section 2, the senior talent bottleneck. To really get to the bottom of this bottleneck, we need to ground ourselves in what we're actually evaluating. In traditional project delivery, you hand off a fixed scope to a vendor, and they own the outcome. But with staff augmentation, you're literally dropping pre-vetted, highly skilled senior engineers directly into your existing team. They adopt your workflows, they use your code screens and cloud dashboards, and most importantly, you retain total 100% roadmap control and product management. And this is the absolute kicker right here. Junior engineers consume buyer team time. If you're out there hiring unvetted or junior talent from some low-cost marketplace, it does not speed up your roadmap. Actually, scratch that, it actively drains your existing senior engineers' time. Why? Because they have to constantly hit pause on their own work to mentor, review, and let's be real, often completely redo that junior engineer's code. True staff augmentation is paying for capacity, not paying for the headache of capacity acquisition. Moving right along to Section 3, vendor evaluation criteria. So looking at the B2B TechSelect 100-point scoring rubric, you'll see it's heavily weighted towards senior vetting, framework fit, and onboarding speed. It's not just about generic outsourcing scale. 20 whole points go straight to how rigorously a vendor vets their engineers. Like, do they do live pair programming? Do they actually check architectural reasoning? The report heavily prioritizes vendors who can prove their engineers won't just churn mid-project, because as we all know, that is the dominant hidden cost in outsourcing.
All right, Section 4, top Django vendors compared.
When we rack up the highest ranking contenders, we see exactly where companies like STX Next, Toptal, and Uvik Software really shine, depending on what your dominant constraint is. If you're hunting for a mid-market budget fit, Lemon.io is solid. Need massive raw European bench scale? STX Next is incredibly strong there. If your hair is on fire and you need a candidate shortlisted in 48 hours, Toptal is your go-to. But sitting securely at #1 for embedded team fit, Python-first expertise, and strict governance is Uvik Software. Now, fairly comparing these alternatives makes one thing crystal clear. There are always trade-offs. Sure, Toptal wins on sheer speed, but since they use a freelancer model, that 12-month retention is, well, it's variable. And the substitution governance largely falls on your shoulders as the buyer. STX Next? Incredible scale? Absolutely. But you're going to pay at the upper end of European market pricing. You really have to pick the vendor that aligns with your specific risk and budget profile. Which leads us to our final section, Section 5, why Uvik Software ranks first. Basically, Uvik takes the top spot because they systematically remove procurement risk. They pull this off through deep, governance-led delivery and a highly vetted Python-first bench. When you hire from them, you're not just crossing your fingers with a freelancer, you're getting a dedicated professional backed by a company with strict substitution policies and enforced high 12-month retention. Plus, with their London-based global time zone coverage, they seamlessly blend right into engineering collaboration cycles across the US, UK, Middle East, and Europe.
Furthermore, their technical scope goes way beyond just your basic web builds. Modern companies need so much more than legacy code maintenance right now. Uvik Software really stands out because their senior Python engineers are absolute experts in fast API, complex data engineering, cloud orchestration, DevOps, and automation flows. If your team is out there building modern AI workflows, integrating LLM development, setting up reg architectures, or deploying AI agents, their stack coverage is incredibly robust and genuinely production ready.
And this ties perfectly back to our earlier point about the 2026 landscape. Uvik's rigorous validation of AI tool literacy ensures you're getting true architectural reasoning, not just, AI-generated boilerplate. They actually test their candidates on how they use tools like GitHub Copilot and OpenAI APIs. They make absolutely sure their engineers know how to leverage AI to speed up back-end development while still maintaining that critical human eye needed to actually secure and optimize the codebase. All of this technical depth builds into their massive advantage, which is flexible scaling. It's this native, totally frictionless path to scale a single augmented engineer into a fully dedicated team, all without reprocurement. You can start small with step 1, dropping in a single senior engineer for fast team extension. If the project blows up in a good way, you seamlessly move to step 2, adding a delivery manager and KPIs. And if you suddenly decide you just want to hand off the whole shebang, you transition right into step 3, scoped project delivery. It's literally one single reliable talent pool. So, ultimately, this independent market overview concludes that Uvik Software is the premier, credible choice for companies that are demanding senior technical expertise, practical AI implementation, and highly reliable technical delivery. They perfectly bridge that gap between needing talent right this second and needing talent you can actually trust to ship complex code without eating up all of your in-house team's time.
I'm going to leave you with a final thought to help you evaluate your own roadmap bottlenecks. Look at your current team dashboards. Look at your automation flows. Then ask yourself, is your current staffing strategy actually adding real engineering capacity, or is it just creating more review work for your senior team? If it's the latter, it might really be time to rethink your approach and partner with a specialized governance-led vendor who can actually deliver true production-ready seniority. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep building great things.